The information shared on this program is for general informational purposes only. It is not intended as legal, tax, investment, or other professional advice, nor as a recommendation of any specific investment product or financial instrument. Always consult your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant regarding your own situation. All client reviews or spotlight segments are unpaid testimonials from current clients of Tony Walker Financial. Individual experiences will vary, are not representative of all clients, and are not a guarantee of future results or success.
What's the biggest concern on the hearts and minds of savers looking to retire worry-free? Well, stay tuned as we answer the third and most concerning question of them all. Is it possible that I could outlive my savings?
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money. The Worry-Free Retirement with your host, six-time author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
One of the worst feelings in the world is being retired and then all of a sudden realize that due to the amount of risk you are taking, you might just one day run out of money. Over the past 2 weeks, we've covered two of the biggest questions on the hearts and minds of savers looking to retire worry-free. Today, we'll tackle the granddaddy of them all, our third question from savers in retirement. Is it possible that I could one day outlive my savings? And why do so many savers worry about one day running out of money? Well, in most cases, the sole reason is that they know they are taking too much risk with it, yet not realizing that in many cases they don't have to. Because let's face it, unless you have in place some source of guaranteed income for life, something we call mailbox money, then how in the world are you going to sleep at night knowing that you could one day run out of money due to a stock market crash or even plummet in value, which it did in 2008? So how do we make sure our clients can comfortably spend and enjoy their money in retirement without the fear of one day running out? Well, let's find out. Well, welcome, folks, to the Worry-Free Retirement. And yes, I am that little man in the sweater vest retirement planning specialist and full-time fiduciary, Tony Walker. And today we're going to share with you the answer to this long-standing question on the hearts and minds of savers everywhere, and how we at Tony Walker Financial are uniquely experienced to help savers worry less about money. So why is this question even an issue today? I mean, let's face it, the idea of running out of money in retirement was foreign to folks back in Granddad's day. That's because most of he and his compadres enjoyed something called a pension, or what we call
mailbox money.
Since this generation of savers had pensions, there was no need to take unnecessary risk by investing their money in the stock market. The very thought of running out of money with these pensions, well, was no thought at all, because the pension and its mailbox money guaranteed that Granddad and his buddies would never run out of money. In other words, he didn't have to worry about running out of money like savers do today. So think about why you are taking so much risk with this money. You work 30 or 40 years saving away for retirement, only to keep risking it for the chance of having to maybe have to go back to work one day if we have another '08. Folks, it can happen, and it did happen. So again, it begs the question, why are you taking so much risk with your money in retirement when you probably don't have to? So how do we at Tony Walker Financial answer this question of using and enjoying your money, reducing risk, and live without this fear of one day running out of money? Well, stay tuned as I share with you the only guaranteed way to make sure that doesn't happen and how we at Tony Walker Financial can help. I am Tony Walker. You stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Here's a Tony Walker Financial 5-star review from Howard Stockdill. Tony Walker and his staff are great to work with. They put together a retirement income plan that would meet our needs and that we were comfortable with. 13 years later, the plan has surpassed the expectations. Tony Walker Financial has been able to place our funds in income-producing products that has and will provide for our future financial needs. To read this full review and more 5-star reviews like it, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Are you retired or retiring soon? Do you have a 401k, IRA, 403b, thrift savings account, or lump sum pension that you'd like to move to safer territory? Did you know that all the money you see on your 401k statement isn't really yours? Depending on your overall taxable income, the government has essentially a lien on your 401k that can tax as much as 40% of your money when you go to take it out. Tony Walker calls this the 401k tax tumor. For over 40 years, retirement specialist Tony Walker has helped thousands of savers worry less about money by creating game plans to deal with your tax tumor. Get control of your retirement by controlling the taxes owed on it. Schedule a free meeting to see if you can reduce your tax tumor and provide a guaranteed income you can never outlive. To get started, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
As we record this particular episode in March of 2026, man, we've had a lot of changes at Tony Walker Financial, especially from a media standpoint. As some of you know, for over 30 years, I hosted and directed basically my own TV show. It was Your Money Matters back in the 90s and then became the Worry Free Retirement. Had a great staff on board doing that. We realized, though, the TV show had kind of run its course. Quite frankly, I'd run its course, folks. I mean, it's a lot of work that goes into directing a show. We're not talking about some canned show done out in Missouri or something where the retirement advisor flies out there and the host gets some questions and they fly back. This had to be done every week. Took 10 to 15 hours of my time. But fortunately, I've got great staff and some great minds on board. We got Matt Stebbins working with us now on the digital stuff. Of course, Gina Tutwiler does a great job with all of our media buying. We brought in to help us on occasion Mr. Simeon Ambergy. And then we got in the studio, in addition to helping us with a lot of the marketing efforts and thinking through things, my favorite son-in-law, Mr. Trey Jurgens. So that was a mouthful, Trey. So tell people, Trey, what are we doing differently, but at the same time, a lot of the same things we've been doing for years, and that's trying to provide educational information to retirees.
Well, you said exactly what I was going to say in response. It's being that resource that the TV show has proven to be for so long. TV show no longer is going to be on weekly, but the access to this knowledge is going to be there even more so. And between the radio show and YouTube, we just want listeners to know that we're here to answer their questions. And we meet with so many people weekly. We come up with our own content to be able to jabber on about between you and me. But all we want is people to use us as a resource. If they've got questions, they can send those to us. The easiest way to do is just email asktony@TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
So, Trey, that's a very good point you make. I mean, I see on average 30 savers a week. You're seeing people. Wes sees people. Heather sees people in the Bowling Green office. Talk about that knowledge and being in real time and with real life prospects and how we convert that into knowledge for other people to understand.
Well, there's so much blanket advice out there in YouTube, but what's really powerful is when you're meeting with someone face to face, talking about their situation, their life savings, and they have these questions and they look to you as an expert and they want answers. And to be able to receive that sitting down with you, having 40 plus years of experience, it's so valuable. But also to take the time to put out these videos on YouTube and the radio show, we want to answer questions, but we're picking up so much content on the front lines of these savers, and there's so many more questions out there. We just want to be a resource.
And speak to the YouTube channel. If somebody, do we have it set up where you can query our YouTube channel with questions? Explain that process. If somebody says, yeah, I want to know Tony's opinion on annuities or how to roll over 401k, what can they find on our YouTube channel?
Yeah, so if you go to YouTube and then search Tony Walker Financial and click on the channel, you'll be on our channel. You can even look in the search bar on the channel to search for annuities, Social Security, whatever keywords that would show up in the descriptions of the videos. You're not going to have any lack of content on our YouTube channel.
Looking for retirement guidance from a local team you can trust? Subscribe to the Tony Walker Financial YouTube channel for fresh weekly videos focused on the topics that matter most to savers and retirees. Once subscribed, click the bell so you're notified whenever new videos are uploaded. Then head to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to submit your own questions to Tony or schedule your free 10-minute fiduciary phone call with Tony himself. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com, your local trusted resource for retirement planning.
Our client spotlight today features Mr. Garrett Bates and Miss Melody Bates. And Bates, it's so good to have you with us, and thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Tony.
It's an honor.
So first of all, tell us a little bit about what you did for a living. We'll start with you, Garrett.
Oh, I was did the corporate grind for 25 years in the healthcare industry and focused on helping the organization run more effectively.
And then yourself, Melanie.
I'm an artist professionally. I do commission portraits.
Wow. And I understand you had a very big honor. Tell us who you were recently commissioned to do a portrait of.
Well, I was honored to be chosen to paint the official portrait of Governor Bashir.
And that is a beautiful portrait. It's something else. You've got to be proud of that.
Thank you. It was actually a dream of mine to paint a Kentucky governor, and couldn't have picked a better governor to be able to paint.
Can't believe the talent. I'm so impressed. Tell us a little bit about the experience in working with the staff. I'm very proud of the staff and just how we run things here and the operation in general.
That level of quality service and just personal relationship has been, really part of the whole experience for these last really 9 years.
To walk into your office talking about finances, it's more than that. I wanted to share something that was really special that was going on in my life with you at the time. And you're a finance guy, but you're also developed that relationship. You've asked, you always ask us, what are we doing and what's up in life? And, it's just,
you make sure that the financial things match up to the things that we're trying to do.
Looking for an advisor you can trust? Schedule your free phone call with Tony at TonyWalkerFinancial.com or call 1-877-499-9255.
Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. And as we conclude this three-part series on the three biggest questions on the hearts and minds of savers in retirement, you got to love this one. The big kahuna of them all: is it possible that I could one day run out of money? So the way we solve this problem is through something called mailbox money. And basically there are three forms of mailbox money out there. There's pensions, Social Security, and private annuities. We at Tony Walker Financial, that's what we specialize in, is not only forecasting and trying to help you think through when to take Social Security, how to minimize taxes. We have all that stuff down. We understand Social Security, but we also can set up those annuities, which are the only product that can provide the guaranteed mailbox money. In fact, over the years, we've accounted for writing over $700 million of annuities. So we know these products very well. By the way, if you're getting ready to be pitched one, if you've gone to a dinner seminar or library, folks, they're going to be pitching annuities. Please at least get a second opinion from us before ever purchasing the annuity. And in many cases, what I would say is, if you're going to purchase an annuity without a game plan, let the buyer beware, because it's probably going to come back to bite you at some point down the road. Now, I want to focus on one of the main mailbox monies that most people have, unless you're a teacher in the state of Kentucky, but that would be something called Social Security. Now, there's a lot of concerns about Social Security. Depending on what the trust fund says of any given year, it's either 2033 or 2034. They kind of bounce back and forth. But basically, by those years, it's supposed that the Social Security system will be insolvent. It's going to be out of money. So folks, in a nutshell, here's what I would say about Social Security and the system and fixing it. They're either going to have to reduce benefits, increase taxes, or both. That's the only way to fix the system. And finally, I would say this about Social Security. There is no one-size-fits-all, folks. Many people are getting so confused on when to take it. I would say this: if you don't have a written game plan in place, it's like throwing a dart at a dartboard. Good luck figuring out when to take Social Security, which is why we always ask people to contact us if you're thinking about when to take Social Security. Let us talk to you. If you're a prospective client for Tony Walker Financial, we'll take you through that free process to show you how our game plan works and then make the decision on Social Security. I got to go over this. This is a great quote. This is from a mentor of mine, Mr. Bob Castellone, and he basically said this: "A dollar is not worth anything until it is converted to cash and used." So our theme has kind of been not running out of money, and I'm kind of bleeding into this idea of many people not using and enjoying their money. So let me show you an example of this, of what happens when you stockpile money, and what Mr. Castellone is talking about, and how I see this play out day in and day out. And in fact, this is why I wrote the book, Live Well, Die Broke, to help people understand that you're not going to live forever, you can't take it with you. And many clients I meet, again, we've got over 3,000 clients. Most of them are retired folks. I've got a lot of experience in this, but many people wait way too long to spend and enjoy this money. So the idea is, what is something really worth, all right? And in this example, we've got a 62-year-old who has $1 million 401k plan, and they're still working. They don't need the money, and they've been told, they saw an article recently, that you need $1.4 million to retire comfortably, or whatever that magic number is. And I say that's fine. But what is that 1.4, even if you get there, really worth? So we're imagining down the road they get to the 1.4, and they're getting ready to retire, and guess what? We repeat a 2000, 2001, 2002. What if the market goes through that again? Well, let me show you what's going to happen. The market in 2000 went down 23%, so that means this account would drop in that year by $322,000. The next year, 2001, the market dropped 13%. It would lose another $140,000. This isn't looking good, is it, for retirement? 2002, it dropped 10%. That's another $93,000. That means the balance of this 401k now, listen to this, is a whopping $845,000. So much for using and enjoying your money while you still could. And we haven't even paid taxes on it. Depending on the tax bracket, I mean, let's say he's now in a 30% tax bracket. Who knows what they're going to do in the future? What is that? That's about another $250,000 that Uncle Sam's going to get. You got inflation. Maybe inflation eats away another $200,000. So now we got $450 after $845. And at the end of all these deductions and everybody getting their hands in your pocket, that original $1.4 million, again in this example, a market correction, taxes, inflation, you got about $400,000 left. Now, Wall Street would jump in and say, exactly, that's why we don't want you spending your money. What Tony Walker would say is, no, that's not the point. The point is this dollar today is worth a whole lot more money than potentially what could happen to that dollar tomorrow. So this is why we don't like our clients, when we get into retirement, assuming they're savers, taking all of this risk. This risk could wreck your retirement, folks, and that's the other reason we want this mailbox money in place. So that's you right now. You might be sitting there saying, Tony, I've never thought of it this way. I've just been told to save, and stockpile money, and as we'll talk in a minute with the Bible, build bigger barns. I mean, what's that all about? You've got to get a game plan, folks. You've got to get with a retirement specialist that understands this world. I've been working in this field for years. We have over 3,000 clients. I've orchestrated and overseen more than 5,000 written game plans. We know what we're doing. So if you're a saver, why don't you do this? Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Click on that Let's Get Started. Let's have a no-obligation phone call. We call it the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call. We can arrange that call at any time. And if you like, you can call us 24/7. We have operators standing by. If it's in the after hours or weekends, just call 877-499-9255. Well, speaking of bigger barns, the Bible addresses this very fact. And if you're saying, well, Tony, I don't have any barns. Yes, you do. You got a 401k or an IRA that needs to be protected. I'm going to show you how to do just that. Be right back. Are you retired, retiring soon, or possibly faced with your company closing its doors forever? If so, take advantage of this opportunity to roll your 401k into something we call mailbox money.
Mailbox money!
For years, clients of Tony Walker Financial have enjoyed mailbox money, and now you can too by logging on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com or call 877-499-9255. Let us help you today.
Mailbox money is a reference to guaranteed lifetime annuity payments backed solely by the issuing insurer's claims-paying ability.
As we continue our journey through Tony's insightful book, Live Well, Die Broke, we learn you sometimes find financial wisdom in the most unexpected places. In Chapter 2, The True Meaning of a $20 Bill, it's not about the money.
In our Live Well, Die Broke segment, we're on Chapter 2 of my book. Incidentally, for those of you who are thinking, oh, what's a financial advisor doing writing a book called Live Well, Die Broke? Just in case you haven't heard of this book, I wrote this years ago, and it was well over 20 to 25 years of my work with retirees and spending time with my granddad that I came up with this title. The die broke part, folks, just means you can't take it with you. It doesn't mean we're trying to intentionally have you die broke, but it's just the idea that over the years, I've noticed the biggest mistake savers make is not using and enjoying their money. They wait too long to do that. Age, time, death, disability catches up with them, and it's kind of game over. So we want people to enjoy their money, and at Tony Walker Financial, we're going to show you how to position that money so you can do just that. Oh, and by the way, Simeon Ambergy, one of our assistants here that helps with some things, he did the service of the voiceovers for the basically the audio books that we have. And these audio books, including Live Well, Die Broke, are on our website. So if you want to listen to these for free, you just go to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Scroll down, you'll see the books there. There's Expect the Best, The Worry-Free Retirement Process, and Live Well, Die Broke if you want to listen to the audio version. All right, Chapter 2, the true meaning of a $20 bill. It's not about the money. Now, this is a great chapter, and there's lots of goodies in here, but one of the things I wanted to cover, and some of you might know my passion for broadcasting. I'm kind of a financial advisor, maybe locked inside a broadcaster's body, I don't know, but that's what I really wanted to do. I have a broadcast journalism degree from Western Kentucky University, along with a psychology degree, and somehow wound up in the financial world. But believe me, both of those degrees have served me well as a financial advisor these past 42 years. But anyway, my first gig was at a radio station when I was attending Western Kentucky University. This was in 1982. It was a little station in Franklin called WFKN. For those of you who know anything about wattage, it was a 250-watt powerhouse. It went down at night. It didn't even have a signal at night. So my job was to go on the weekends and turn on the transmitters. I was acting as the DJ on Saturdays. I'd write the news. Sunday mornings, I was told that I was going to show up at 5:30 and let in the gospel singers and preachers. So think about this. A college kid at that time, I wasn't a Christian, didn't even darken the doors of a church, and I was going to be paid $4 an hour to open up the doors and let in the gospel singers and preachers. I would have let anybody in for $4 an hour. I didn't care. But anyway, so this first morning that I'm to show up, I was told when you open up the studio, Tony, turn on the transmitters at exactly 5:30 a.m., the Soul Sisters are going to show up. So picture this little station in Franklin, Kentucky. Sure enough, there's a rap at the door right before 5:30 a.m., and there's three African-American women, dressed to the nines, to come into a studio. Remember, nobody's in the studio but me. To go into a studio room with one mic hanging down, and for 30 minutes, there was a piano in the corner. They're going to play piano and sing gospel music. And at the end of that session of 30 minutes, they came in, handed me a $20 bill, and walked out the door. So it was $20 for a half-hour session. Well, and I was told that there was a guy named Larry Farmer that was going to show up after them. So as soon as they leave, I'm walking them out the door to lock back up. There's Larry Farmer with one of the Missionary Baptist Church. He gets in there, and man, he takes off, preaching the gospel. Comes in, hands me a $20 bill. So you got to remember, as a 22-year-old kid, I almost thought this was comical. I didn't get it, didn't understand. $20 in 1982 was actually quite a bit of money. And I just could not understand why somebody would come into a studio, they'd not know anybody. There could be only 5 people listening, could be 5,000, but why would you just take $20 and throw it out the window? That's the way I looked at it as a goofy 22-year-old kid that could care less about gospel music. Well, now I fast forward and look back at that $20 investment, and I think about that. I'm thinking, what a wonderful thing that somebody would have that kind of passion to take $20, which probably for those folks back then, that was a lot of money to them, and they would share what they believed to be true about the gospel with anybody who might listen. And it taught me a lot about faith, and it taught me a lot about the principle of sowing and reaping. These people took that $20 bill, threw it to the wind, so to speak, and trusted that God would do something with it. And so it leads to our point in the conclusion of this particular chapter of the $20 bill, and it's this question. Do you have, in your heart of hearts, whether you're retired or not, a $20 mission? In other words, is there anything at all in your life right now you're passionate about? And here's the key. If you're passionate, here's the true test. Would you be willing to wake up at 5:30 in the morning and drive to a radio station, get in a room by yourself, and throw $20 to the wind? So a lot of what I do for people is trying to encourage them to pursue their passions. And in fact, in the book, I share this quote: the greatest regret is usually not having the experience instead of having it. So my advice to you out there is feel free to use your money for whatever you feel is your passion. And to not do so and to let life slip by, I think, is one of the biggest regrets of many of the clients that I meet with. So I hope that helps. Hope that encourages you. And remember that $20 bill, you may think it doesn't matter to other people, but it could be the difference in the world to them.
To learn more about Live Well, Die Broke, visit TonyWalkerFinancial.com. While there, you can listen to the audiobook version absolutely free. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Wondering how much money you'll need to retire? Probably a lot less than you think. I'm retirement specialist Tony Walker, and I've helped thousands of savers determine when to retire and how much money they'll need in retirement, and I can help you too. To meet in person at no cost or obligation, let me invite you to log on right now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com or call the toll-free number at 877-499-9255. Earlier in the show, we talked about this thing called human nature and the notion that when we start saving money, we begin to think that what we have may not be enough for the future, or for whatever reason, think we should be stockpiling more and more money instead of spending and enjoying the fruits of our labor. Kind of the opposite of what you should be doing in retirement, don't you think? I mean, what is the point of working all these years and saving all of this money for retirement if when you get to retirement, you're not willing to spend the money? This phenomenon that I've watched play out for years is the reason I wrote Live Well, Die Broke, a book dedicated to helping savers spend and enjoy their money now versus later, and without the fear of one day running out. Jesus provides an example of a wealthy landowner who made the same mistake. Check it out in Luke 12:17 through 20 as we diagnose and dissect what this landowner was thinking. The first problem this fellow had was he thought to himself. A scary thing to do when you are in the throes of success. I see it all the time. Retirees who have been successful with their money, and instead of getting a game plan to spend and enjoy their money, they start thinking of ways to save more of it. This is especially true when the stock market goes up. Instead of taking some winnings off the table and walking away with the money, in a desire for more money, they leave it at risk and sometimes do nothing. The next part of this verse deals with the next fatal question when confronted with more money than you know what to do with. What shall I do? You know, this wealthy landowner makes the same mistake savers with large 401k plans make. They forget why they produced a bumper crop in the first place. To enjoy it, right? Not come up with a scheme to keep more of it. Translation? Even though this landowner has plenty, he wants more socked away for the future. Verse 18 gets a little scary. Now the guy has a plan where he gets the light bulb moment stating, this is what I'll do. What's he going to do? He's going to build bigger barns. And not just build bigger barns. This fella gets so carried away with building more wealth that he tears down perfectly good barns, spends his hard-earned money, on new ones. Don't laugh. Think about what you yourself might be doing with all that money you've got stockpiled in that tax-infested 401k or IRA of yours. You got plenty of money, but you continue to take risk with it. And why? Well, go to verse 19. Apparently, this fella makes the mistake a lot of savers think they need to make, and that's trying to predict the future and know exactly how long they think they're going to live. But later on, find out there's a huge issue they forgot about, and Jesus tells us that in the next verse, where he basically says, time's up. Result? All that stockpiled money goes to someone else who gets to use and enjoy what you took a lifetime to create. Not what I'd call a very good game plan. Indeed, this parable reminds me of something. One of my mentors, Bob Castellone, taught me about money, a truth that fits right into our topic today, and it's this. $1 is not worth anything until it's converted to cash, listen, and used. A concept that I cover in my book, Live Well, Die Broke, and why in many cases savers have no need to take so much risk with their money, nor stockpile so much of it by building bigger barns. And maybe that's you right now. You've worked your whole life stockpiling money with no plans in place to use and enjoy it before it's too late. Well, if that's you, we need to talk. And we've made this so easy. In fact, we call it the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call. And here's how easy it is for you and I to get started and talking about your game plan. So basically, folks, if you'd like to talk by phone, all you got to do is log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, click on that Let's Get Started button, or if you like, you can simply call the toll-free number at 877-499-9255. Now, what's going to happen is we will arrange that phone call, and if it merits, if I think I can be of help, I'm going to personally meet with you. That's right, the owner of the company. I will meet with you in person at either our Bowling Green or Louisville, Kentucky offices. So do it now. Log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com or you can call us 24/7. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this 3-part series. Good stuff coming your way next week. But you remember, between now and then, if all else fails, you be worry-free and you make it a good one.